Jackson Radio Show.
Meanwhile, we pony up the money. I mean, it's really preposterous. Do you think this institution, why in the world do we perpetuate it? It's a joke. Well, and everybody knows it's a joke. And the pretense that somehow great geopolitical minds come together as either leaders of nations or other institutions and then make the world a safer place. It is palpably a lie.
Well, the political institutions have failed. Jeane Kirkpatrick was once asked if the U.S. should withdraw from the UN. She paused for a moment and said, no, it's not worth the trouble. And the reason for that is we'd have to overcome the Europeans. So my suggestion is...
Well, it'd save us a couple of billion a year.
We move to voluntary financing. If that doesn't get their attention and make the reforms, then you withdraw.
Yeah, I just do not comprehend why this fiction is preserved. The president tomorrow will give an important speech, we're told. I have never seen an important speech by a president to the General Assembly.
Well, it's worth a try, I think, so we'll see what the president does. You know, George W. Bush, when he came up here each year, used to refer to it as his annual trip to the Wax Museum. So we'll see if President Trump has better luck.
Well, we will wish him all of the very best in doing so.
Welcome back, everybody. Kevin Jackson here. It's a Kevin Jackson Show. That was Lou Dobbs and Ambassador Bolton discussing the UN. And Lou Dobbs is exactly right. Bringing all these great geopolitical minds together, blah, blah, blah. And then Bolton says we should do voluntary financing. If we want to finance it, we do, but not this mandatory thing. It's like the International Monetary Fund. When has that ever benefited the United States? Since its beginning. Never. We're $20 trillion in debt almost, and we've never gotten a nickel from the International Monetary Fund. We just give. And so Dobbs is like, what? It's a fiction that the United Nations is doing good. But where Lou Dobbs was like, there's never been a president that's given a speech or whatever. He heard the first one. And it was just as I said a few minutes earlier in the broadcast. The fact of the matter is Donald Trump knows how to win. The Republicans, the Republic, has finally got somebody who knows how to win. Donald Trump learned how to win because he takes a piece of property, and a few years later, it's beautiful. It's profitable. That's winning in his eyes. It's rarely a loss. And so he knows how to win, and he's instilling this principle into people. It isn't going to change overnight, folks. Don't think that Donald Trump's going to go to D.C. and drain the swamp in a day. No, but the water level's going down little by little. And you see it. I'm not going to harbor on this point about the UN except to tell you that look at the win that came out of it. Donald Trump goes up there and excoriates North Korea. He excoriates Venezuela. He says to the world, if you support this type of a regime, shame on you. And he gets results. Ask yourself this. 8 years ago, Kim Jong-un was doing the same thing. Did Barack Obama go to the UN and say to them, how dare you support a guy like this, China or anybody else? Did he name any country out and say and give you a result that got immediate response? You want to know what the immediate response was? The Chinese came out and said, you cannot bank with us anymore. Where's North Korea going to bank? Now, if we find out that cargo ships or whatever are going to North Korea against the sanctions, essentially what you're saying to the world, he's called the UN out to say, anybody that violates this to a guy that threatens the world with nuclear weapons, we're going to come down on you. We're going to give you a reason why we leave the UN. This is a setup for the UN. I think smarter minds know. I think these geopolitical minds that Lou Dobbs is talking about, I think they know. I think right now people are plotting, how can we please get Donald Trump and the United States to come to the Paris Accord, to come to some, something that we can deal with. How do we do it? Yeah. They're trying to figure it out. Because Donald Trump's going, look, I don't care what politics were in the past. We now know how to win. We are not going to be the patsy sitting at the poker table while everybody else is smiling going, yeah. If we play our cards right, everybody goes home with the United States money. Because that's what we've been. We've been the patsy every single poker hand. We might as well just not even play. What Barack Obama should have just done is said, look, I brought $100 million to the poker game. How do y'all want to divide it up? Because that's what we've been dealing with. And so what does the left do when they can't win? They got to give you subterfuge. They got to boggle you down with all these other things that, that they know we shouldn't be talking about. You got ESPN hating on Donald Trump. You got the Emmys targeting Trump. In triage, these people can't even get Hollywood to watch their drivel anymore. Let me ask you this. Who won Oscar for Best Picture last year? Do you know? I don't know. Do you guys know? Of course not. 2 years ago, 5 years ago. The only way you'll know that is if you're studying for Jeopardy. Because there's no reason to know. Who can? Let me tell you who won. Somebody that made a political statement against us is going to win everything. Best comedy, best costume, best this. Did you say something? Did you hate on Trump? Did you hate on conservatives? Did you pretend to be humanitarian towards Mexicans? Did you tend to say, did you say something like, I love all the Islams and radical Islam is a figment of the imagination or whatever? Did you say something like that? Because you can get anything you want out of Hollywood. I would love to give us some slack. I would love to say, you know what, conservatives, it's not our fault. It is our fault. Let me tell you why it's our fault. We've had decades to watch this, and we're smart. But we've had decades to watch this, and we've done nothing. I shouldn't say nothing, but very little. Guys like Kevin Sorbo make independent films. James Woods says, look, my career's over. James Woods could go and start working with Sorbo or Nick Searcy. How many people in Hollywood do you think would gladly move over and start making conservative, good films? Think about the acting talent of Jon Voight, Davi, Sorbo. These people getting together, Adam Baldwin, getting scripts written by conservatives, even throw in, what's his name? Mel Gibson and whomever. Find every conservative, every gaffer, every sound man. I think that is a gaffer. Whatever. I don't know all the Hollywood lingo. Don't be looking at me like I'm crazy. But get all those people together and let's start making films. And better yet, you guys, let's not go to the theater to do it. Let's let them sell those films to YouTube or whomever. If YouTube won't give them the money, or Netflix, both run by big lefties, start your own. And let's start streaming our videos into our homes and watching their films, paying $5 a download. Let these guys make $1 million to $5 million films, profit double, triple, whatever. And then somebody start a studio or a couple of studios, and we start watching conservative films and limited releases in various theaters, because theater owners want to pack their theaters, and we start making our own films. How about we do that? But besides complaining about Hollywood, see, we should be looking for solutions, and we can do it. Anyway, we got a ton to talk about. I just got off on a tangent on that. Back in a bit.
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.